Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dr. Cece Says, the Mental Health Awareness Edition. So, y'all know all month in May, we are dealing with mental health awareness. And so, the first couple of weeks, we talked about the importance of actually talking about mental health concerns and actually being aware of the different mental health treatments that are out there. And then we also brought Dr. Demita on, and she talked with us about how we initiate services. But tonight, y'all, I want to talk about something a little different. Okay, tonight I want to talk about joy and how joy impacts our mental health. So, as usual, y'all know how to do. I see we got a couple of people on. If you are in the virtual building, drop hey, hello, hi, what it do, whatever you want to say, drop it in the chat so I know that you're here with me. And if you are catching the replay, make sure you drop hashtag replay in the chat so I know that you have been here with me. Okay. So y'all go ahead and do that. Hey, hubby. Yo. So, y'all, let's talk about this joy. Hey, sis. Good to see you. So, it's been a lot of things happening. A lot of things have been like really great. And then, of course, life be lifing, right? So there have been some things that have not been so great, and I still have joy, right? So, what I wanted to talk about tonight is how do we continue to have joy even in the midst, even when life has been lifing. All right. Hey, sis. I see Danielle on. Hey, Alice. Hey, friend. Yeah, good to see y'all. So y'all, we gonna get into it. It's gonna get a little churchy tonight because I'm feeling it already in my spirit. Okay, and I'm gonna have some work for y'all to do. So everybody, be on, be engaged, pay attention. All right. And for my folks that are watching the replay, you can still participate in the work, right? You all can still comment just like you are watching the live, okay? And I promise y'all, I go back and read every single comment, okay? And when I can, I try my best to respond. So by all means, please interact, all right? So let's start with what joy is. Let's define it, okay? And y'all, I had so many thoughts tonight, I had to write my stuff down. So y'all bear with me. So, joy is defined as a feeling of great pleasure that can come from a sense of well being. Okay? A feeling of great pleasure that can come from a sense of well being. Now, a lot of times we will use joy and happiness interchangeably, right? We'll use them, to talk about the other one. But there is a difference. Okay? Joy is seen as an emotion that is stronger in some ways, more intense than happiness. And it's something that might not occur as much as happiness. It might not occur as often as happiness. And we'll talk about why that is. All right. So, joy might be caused by spiritual experiences. It might be caused by gratitude, by thankfulness, by things that are happening on the inside. And it might trigger this inward peace and contentment. Happiness, on the other hand, can be caused by experiences or material or tangible things, and it can be triggered or it triggers an outward expression of elation. So, pretty much, joy, you feel it on the inside, it kind of produces this contentment, this peace on the inside. Happiness is something that you see more on the outside. Okay? A lot of folks think that joy is more lasting because it's based on your inward circumstances, while happiness is more temporary because it's based on your outward circumstances. So, y'all can see the difference, right? Joy is more peace and contentment that you have even when life is lifing, even when your outward circumstances look bleak. And you can have that joy because of your perspective. And we're going to talk about perspective a lot tonight, okay? Meanwhile, happiness might change based off of your outward circumstances. So, happiness is something that you don't have as much control over. Joy, because it's coming from the inside, you have more control over that. So, y'all, I like to be happy, but I love having joy. Okay. So for me, joy and peace are really important. I will do what it takes for me to get them, and I will do what it takes for me to keep them. Okay. And I hope y'all feel similarly. All right. If you feel similarly, drop me too in the chat. Okay. So, y'all, earlier this week, I think it was on Sunday, a friend of mine, her name's Raffinay. Hopefully, she's going to see the live. Shout out to Raffinay. She reminded me that I should be intentional about identifying the things that bring me joy, right? Finding the joy that's around me already. So it's great for us to create joy, but y'all, we have some things around us that already bring us joy, or we have some things in us that already bring us joy, okay? And so she kind of charged me and a few other people to be very intentional about doing things or creating experiences that bring us joy throughout the week and not waiting until the weekend to try to find joy. You know how folks say, I'm working for the weekend? Y'all, we get one life, okay? We have one opportunity to be on this earth. Let's not work all week and be miserable all week hoping to get to the weekend, waiting to have peace on the weekend. Y'all, we can have peace throughout the week, all right? So, again, Raffinay gave us a charge, and I've been thinking about it, and it made me think about the link between joy and mental health. Okay, because there's absolutely a link, and so I wanted to give y'all a little bit of that. So joy is an emotion or a feeling, right? We know that, but we can also measure it, and we can see it. We can see the impact of joy and other emotions in our body and also in our brain. So when we feel certain emotions like joy, our bodies actually release dopamine and serotonin, right? Two types of neurotransmitters in the brain. And I know I got some folks on here, some biology folks that can really explain this the way it needs to be explained, but I'm gonna just give y'all a quick synopsis, okay? So, lower levels of dopamine and serotonin are linked to mental health concerns such as clinical depression. And so that's why when people have clinical depression and they take certain medications, they actually feel relief. It's because those antidepressive medications are manipulating the amount of serotonin that's in the brain. So the more serotonin that's released in the brain, the more positive emotions we have. Okay. And so if we have positive emotions, we are less likely to be clinically depressed. All right. So that's how that works. But y'all, joy also and other emotions also affect our circulatory system. So this was real cool to me because I hadn't thought about it like this. But when we experience joy or excitement or happiness, we might experience butterflies in our stomach. Y'all know when you that time when you had somebody that liked you and you liked them back and you would start blushing when somebody called their name. That's because of your circulatory system, right? So that emotion led to that change in your system. You also might notice a change in your temperature. Same thing, that's your circulatory system. So our emotions impact every single system in our body. All right. Also, our nervous system is affected by joy and all other emotions. So when we feel joyful, when we feel peaceful, we might have more relaxed breathing. We might have better digestion, and it can even impact our metabolism. So, y'all, we could legit be out here losing weight just by being peaceful and joyful. Did y'all know that? That just having peace in your life, you could lose weight. And I don't know about y'all, but that's good news for me, okay? Because I've been working on it. And any parts of my emotions or my behaviors or whatever, anything that can help, I'll take it. All right. Hey, sis. I see you. Good to see you, Dr. Shalonda. Yeah. So, y'all, research also shows that joy and other positive emotions decrease stress hormones, which also helps with weight loss, just so y'all know, okay? But it also builds emotional strength and it improves our mood. So, at the end of the day, y'all, having joy, being peaceful, these things help us mentally, They help us physically, they help us emotionally, and they help us spiritually. And we're going to get into that in a second. Okay. So, what I really want to talk to us about tonight, how do we get joy and how do we hold on to it? Okay. And let me tell y'all why holding on to joy is so important for me. Y'all, I see folks all the time that allow situations, allow their current circumstances, the stuff that they can see right in front of their face, right? And also allow other people sometimes to steal their joy. And that's unfortunate because when your joy is gone, then you feel it. When your joy is gone, you show it, right? It shows up. So all that positive stuff we just talked about, when you have joy, the increase in serotonin, the relaxed breathing, the better digestion, the weight loss, you experience the opposite of that when you allow things and circumstances and people to steal your joy. Okay, so just think about that. It's not just, oh, this person made me mad, or oh, I'm looking at my circumstances right now, and I just can't be happy. I just can't have any joy because I'm concentrating on my right now. Y'all, that doesn't just rob you of the right now. That robs you of all these other things. That robs you of your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. It can rob you of your spiritual health. So when we allow things to take our joy, they're not just taking an emotion away from us. They're taking tons of things away from us. Okay. If you all can't hear me well, because the air just kicked on, if you can't hear me well, let me know. All right. Drop it in the chat and let me know. All right. So we said earlier that joy comes from the inside, right? Happiness is more something that's manipulated from external things, but joy comes from the inside, and it's more about your perspective. So how do we get it, and how do we keep it? First thing I want you to ask yourself: what do I believe, and what do I say? Okay, what do I believe, and what do I say? Thanks, hubby. All right. So, what is it that you believe about yourself? What is it that you believe about your surroundings, about the world around you? And also, what are the things that you say out of your mouth, right? If you are always entertaining negative thoughts, if you are always harboring negative feelings about yourself, about the world, about others, right? It's going to be real hard for you to have joy. It's going to be hard for you to obtain it, and it's going to be hard for you to keep it. Thanks, sis, for letting me know. Yeah. So what are you saying about yourself? What are you saying about your circumstances? Are you speaking to that thing? Right? Are you putting the word of God on it? Are you putting the truth on it? The Bible says, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good rapport. Think on these things, right? Those are the things that we need to be filling our minds with. We have to train ourselves, and for some of us, we have to retrain ourselves, right? To think positively. We have to make sure that we are turning our attention, our focus, our thoughts, and our words, right, to positive things. And we already know, y'all know what the Bible said about your tongue, right? The power of life and death lies in the tongue, right? So we have to make sure that we are thinking and speaking in accordance with the things that we know are true. And what are the things that are true about us, right? What's the thing? Yes, it's life and death. Yeah, yeah. What are the things that are true? What do we know? What has God told us about ourselves? We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are the head and not the tail. We are his children, and because we are his children, we are entitled to the things that he gives us. Right? That's what the Bible says. That's what God has said. That's what Jesus told me, right? And so we have to make sure that we are aligning our thoughts and our words. And y'all, I can't even tell you how important that is. How so very important that is. Y'all, we can mess up stuff with our words. Okay? We can be at the door of a blessing, and curses can come out of our mouth, and we will stop that blessing. God didn't do it, right? He didn't take it back. We spoke death over that blessing. So we have to be very careful about what we say. And what we say comes out of what we think, right? Right? And out of our heart. We have to be careful about that. And that goes to the next point. The next point is, what are you consuming? Okay. So when we have negative thoughts about, um, ourselves and about others, about our circumstance, when we have a lot of negative feelings, we got to check what we're consuming. So a long time ago, I heard somebody say garbage in and garbage out, right? If you taking garbage in, you gonna have garbage come out, right? I would say negativity in, negativity out, chaos in, chaos out, right? Love in, love out, positivity in, positivity out. Whatever you taking in, y'all, it's gonna come out. It oozes out of our pores, okay? Somebody told me recently, they stopped me, and this has happened a couple of times throughout my life, but a lot recently. People have stopped me and said, "Oh my God, you're so pretty. Oh my God, you just seem so happy. Oh, you seem so free." And y'all, that ain't me. That's God in me, right? That's me walking out my purpose. That's me walking this journey and carrying out my assignments the way that I'm supposed to do it. That's what that is, right? The light that they're seeing, that light comes from God. And yes, I take the compliment, right? And I said, thank you so much. All right. You want to know where it comes from? Let me tell you a little bit about it. Right. So y'all, whatever we put in, that's what's gonna come out. So we gotta be careful about what we let in. And so I see my sis, Dr. Shalonda, said, ouch, sis, it stepped on my toes too. Okay. And that's why we have to hear this stuff over and over again. This is probably not anything that you all hadn't heard before, right? But we have to put ourselves in positions to hear these things over and over again so we can keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep walking out our purpose. Okay. So me and my sis Tasha that's on here tonight, me and Tasha talk about this stuff all the time. All the time we are talking about, you know, how do we get to the next level? How do we level up? Yeah, Tasha just said it. I was about to say it. She put in the chat, guard our ear gate and our eye gate. Absolutely. Absolutely. And y'all, it differs for different people. Some people might be able to consume some stuff and not be moved or not be changed, but you need to know what affects you and you need to act accordingly. Okay. So if you watching shows and you listening to music and you feel some type of way afterwards, you might want to change what you're watching and what you're listening to. Okay. Funny story. And my brother told me the story. I don't know if it was him or if it was one of his friends, but y'all remember the movie Devil's Advocate, right? So y'all know, a major movie. A lot of people know it. It really told a very interesting story, right? So anyway, my brother told me this story where somebody was watching it in the movie theater, and when it got to the part about the chanting, right? So the choir was chanting, and I think it was some evil act that was happening on the screen. The person got up and left. And did they know it was a movie? Absolutely, they knew it was a movie. It wasn't like it was real. It wasn't like it was happening in front of them. But they said it vexed their spirit. And so they got up and walked out. And now, we tell this story and we laugh about it. But when you think about it, it's something to that, right? It could seem harmless, but if it does something to you, if you feel it in your spirit or you feel it in your body, it's making you feel some type of way, we got to pay attention and act accordingly. Y'all, I'm going to be honest, and this might be because I'm getting older. I can't listen to all music anymore. And I love music, okay? Love music. I play multiple instruments. I know most words to most songs from the 50s, 60s, 70s. Like, I love music, okay? I hear some stuff that I used to could listen to when I was 13, 14, 15, and I hear the words now and I'm like, wait now. Mm-mm. And I might clutch my pearls. Folks that know me know I clutch imaginary pearls all the time. So I might clutch my pearls sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to turn this off. Like, it was okay when I was a certain age, but it does something to my spirit now. And when you know that, you act accordingly. Okay? So then what do we do instead? Right? We add things to our life that would help us identify joy, things that bring us happiness, things that bring us joy. So that might be reading an uplifting book. That might be listening to motivational messages and sermons. It might be taking up a hobby that makes you feel fulfilled, right? It could be watching shows that make you laugh, listening to music that affirms you. Hey, bro, I see my bro Mike on here. He said the Holy Spirit is real. Facts. Ears are the gateway into the soul. We got to shut some stuff down. Absolutely. We have to guard our gateways, y'all. We have to guard our heart. The Bible tells us that. And if you think about it, right, the again, stuff that you take in, it finds its way out, right? So that means that it's in there, it's permeating things. So you want to make sure you are putting good stuff in. You're putting joyful things in so that joy is coming out, right? So we have to be mindful of what we believe and what we say, right? What we speak. And then we have to be mindful of what we consume. Now, this third one might step on a few toes, all right? The third one is we got to be mindful of who we have around us. Mm, yeah. And so, y'all, that stepped on my toes too. Because I love connection, I love people. And sometimes um, I have absolutely sacrificed my peace to stay connected to someone. But y'all, that was long time ago. Okay, that's not the Dr. CC that y'all see. That's not the Christy Lynette that I am today. Okay, because I'm gonna guard my peace at all costs today. All right. Yeah, Mike said guard your relationships. Absolutely. So, y'all, if you find that you are around someone that is, or some people, because sometimes it's more than one, that are negative all the time, and y'all, whether they can help it or not, right? Because that used to be my thing, like, oh, they can't help it. Y'all know they, no, they need some help. They need a supportive friend. They need da 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 da. It does not matter. If you are around someone that is negative all the time because of their perspective, because of things that have happened in their life, because of their background, whatever, sometimes you have to distance yourself. You have to put some distance between you and them. Okay? Yeah. Tasha said divine disconnections. Yes, just like divine connections. Absolutely, sis. Some people are in your life for a season, right? And that's okay. I used to think because I have been blessed with amazing friends. Okay, I call them family. They're not even just friends. They are so close. They are actually family. So like Tasha, right? Tasha and I have been best friends since we were 5 years old. Okay, and y'all know how old I am, so y'all know that's 36 years. 36 years we've been best friends. And so there have been times when I assumed that a connection was for life when it really wasn't. And so because I assumed that a connection was for life, I held on to it longer than I should have. Okay? And y'all, that does damage, that disrupts your peace, right? That can steal a little bit of your joy. So you got to be careful about who you're connected to. And you have to be careful about how you're connected to them. Okay? Yeah, Mike says some are in your life to show you, yep, show you what you don't want or need. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I absolutely think that people can be in your life and be okay. Like the connection can be warranted for a little bit. And then that connection goes away. And that's all right, y'all. So we have to know that sometimes we have to put some boundaries in place. And it doesn't have to be rude, it doesn't have to be abrupt. If they're calling, let's say, somebody that's really negative calling, you didn't had a rough day, you don't have the space for that, you're not in the place to talk, you can simply not answer your phone. You pay the phone bill, right? You don't have to pick up your phone. Or if you would like, you can send them a message and tell them that you're going to call them back. Yeah, Mike said food too long in the fridge. Come on, it's gonna spoil. Absolutely. So sometimes we have to consume what we need from it, right? Give them what they need and then let it go. Yeah, Mike preaching real good. Yeah, yeah, y'all. Come on. I love that y'all in the comments. Yes. So y'all, we also might not go into certain spaces when we know that certain people are gonna be there. And there have been times where I've been like, oh, ain't nobody gonna run me off. I can go where I wanna go. I can occupy spaces. I can occupy spaces. Absolutely. And there's also power in choosing what spaces I'm gonna occupy. So I don't have to be everywhere. I don't have to be around everybody. And if I am missing an event because of that, well, that's all right. Because 9 times out of 10, I wasn't going to enjoy that event anyway if I was sitting up there with my spirit vexed. So I would prefer to not vex my spirit, right? I would prefer to not let some of my joy go. So sometimes it's just a matter of us saying, you know what? You got it, right? So when people say, you say, hey, you coming, and they say, who all over there? Folks think you being funny acting. Sometimes you just trying to protect your peace, right? That's all that is. You just trying to protect your peace. Absolutely, yeah. So you also might want to rethink who is in your space with you. So if it's your space, you pay the bills there, right? Then you decide who's coming in and out of there because that's your sanctuary. So y'all know hubby and I just bought a house, right? We're in our house. We are loving it. We're discovering all the different pieces of it. And I have a space that is just mine in our house. And he has a space that is just his. And of course we come in and out of those spaces, but it's ours. We decorate it the way that we want to decorate it, right? Thanks, bro. Yeah. I have to send y'all some pictures. But yeah, so I'm decorating my space with all the pinks and purples and rose gold and all of the girly things, right? That hubby might not want in his space. I'm decorating my space like that, and I made a decision. I think yesterday or today that I was like, oh, no shoes in my space. Now, we don't have people, and we don't either, like walk through our house with our shoes from outside on anyway. So usually we come in the house, we change into house shoes. But I don't even want house shoes in this particular space. And partially it's because I'm doing a lot on the floor, like yoga, and I'm doing stretches and praying and different things on the floor. But also because I want to protect that space just from things that we might have walked through, right? And that's physically, but also spiritually. I don't want to bring certain things into that space. So when people come over to see the house and we're going to do a housewarming and all of this, of course people can come in that room, but we're going to check shoes and we're going to check attitudes and we're going to check some of these spirits at the door, right? Got to check them at the door because I want to protect that space. So just like we protecting what's coming into our ears and our eyes and our mouth, we need to also protect what comes into our space and who comes into our space, okay? So y'all, we really need to be this like intentional, kind of careful, planful way about our time, about our spirit, about our mental health, about our physical health. Y'all, there's so many things for us to address, but it really can start with joy. It really can start with making sure that we have joy and we keep our joy. Yes. Cubby said, "Well, hang your spirit on the rack." Yes, hang your if your spirit not right, leave that on outside. Okay, don't bring that into the space. Okay, and back to people and these connections, y'all. We can love folks and still know that they are not always what's best for us, or that their time in our life is coming to an end, and that is okay, right? We can make those disconnections, right? We can kind of move apart. We can put that space in there and love these folks from afar. All right, so you don't have to feel guilty if you going in one direction and somebody else is going in another. That's all right. I can still love you and we not talk as much. I can still love you and we not hang out, right? I can still love you with the love of God and still have some space, and that's all right. So I told y'all I had some work for y'all. These are some reflection questions. If you can, drop some of it in the chat. Some of it might be a little too personal. If it's too personal, keep it to yourself, but make sure you write it down and make a mental note, because y'all know I'm always about how do we shift our mindset? How do we shift our perspective? And so we do that through self reflection. All right. So, question number one: what brings you joy? So somebody drop that in the chat for me. What are some things or experiences? What are some things going on the inside that bring you joy? Okay. And I'll start off. So my values, right? The things that align with my values bring me joy. So my values include like connection, like I've said, right? And so y'all, this past weekend, hubby and I went back to Alabama. We saw a lot of our folks. It was a 2 day whirlwind trip. We were only there for like 2 full days. But we saw my folks, we saw his folks, we saw friends, we saw the babies, the big babies and the little babies. And so all of that brought me joy. I was looking back at pictures, and it wasn't so much that one person brought me joy, right? Because that's not anybody's job. Our job is to have joy on the inside. What brought me joy was the experience, the connection, being able to connect in person with people that I love dearly, right? That brought me joy. Other things that align with my values that bring me joy is helping others. So I do that every day at work, right? I do that in a certain way. I help the babies and the families at work. But then I have things that I do outside of work that also bring me joy. All right, Alice said encouraging others bring her joy. And I wholeheartedly believe that about you, Alice, because I see you encouraging people over and over and over again. Hey, Pastor, Pastor Nicole on here. That's what I call her, y'all. But Nicole, she is a minister. She said, I finally made it on. Yes, you did. Hey, sis. Yeah. Danielle says, spending time with my 8-year-old niece. She has positive energy. I love it. Y'all, listen, if you don't have kids or if you're not around kids, you just do not understand. Kids are absolutely amazing. All right. And I know I'm like that auntie where kids can't do any wrong. I love all the babies in my life. But like for real, y'all, like legit, kids are absolutely amazing. The way that they see the world, the way that they view just like not only themselves, but like the way that they approach other things and the amount of honesty they have can sometimes be hurtful, but I will take that over somebody lying to me. So absolutely, I love, and 8 is such a cute age. Absolutely, yes. So y'all keep dropping. What are some things that bring you joy? What is it experiences? Is it what you do for others? Like what is it that brings you joy? It could also be just marveling at God's creation, right? I know a lot of people that love to be outside. I love to look at outside, not so much be outside, but just being able to see the beauty that's in the world, right? For a lot of people, that works. Okay, Pastor Nicole said, I'm learning to be quiet during my walks and listen to nature. Yes, it really makes you smile. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. All right, so that was number one. Number two, what is getting in the way of your joy? All right. So it sounds like for a number of us on here, we have joy, right? What's getting in the way of us either increasing that joy or holding on to the joy that we have? Is it what we are believing and what we're saying out of our mouth? Is it the stuff that we're consuming? Or is it the folks that we have around us? And so y'all can, again, it might be real personal. You might want to keep that to yourself and jot it down. But if you feel comfortable, drop it in the chat. What are some things that are keeping us from our joy, right? Either decreasing it or causing it to not increase, right? Or causing us to not be able to hold on to it, all right? So for me, what it can be, and what I've noticed it be in the past, is just negativity, right? So people having negative thoughts, people, and that they say out of their mouth, right? That they share, right? And so, hey, sis, I see Tara on here. She said, fear. Absolutely. Fear will steal your joy, okay? Fear will stop you from walking in your purpose. Fear will stop you from completing your assignment or completing it in excellence. Fear is absolutely one of them. Yeah. And so Terry, what you said actually kind of dovetails with what I said. So for me, it's negativity coming from others. Cause y'all, anybody that know me know I will say I don't bother folks, and I don't expect folks to bother me. But that's not always how life works, right? And so it used to vex my spirit when people would initiate an interaction that would bother me, because I'm like, hey, I wasn't bothering you. But now I know what that is. Now I see it for what it is, so it doesn't bother me as much, right? But yeah, but fear, sometimes when people are sharing their fears with you, or they are placing their fears onto you and your assignment, that will put my joy in jeopardy. It will. I have to do a whole lot of work on that piece, because I'm like, if I'm doing a lot to contain my fear and to battle my fear, I definitely don't need you putting your fear on me. Okay. Yeah, Nicole said drama. Yep, I don't like gossip. Yes. And so, y'all, when we talk about what we consume, right, going back to that number two, what are we taking in? When we take in gossip, when we have a lot of drama around us, people don't realize it, but that actually can do something to you physically, right? Like a whole lot of drama and chaos that can cause your cortisol levels to go up. Y'all, that's the cortisol, if you don't know, that's that stress hormone that actually causes more belly fat. Hmm. So again, going back to being peaceful, being joyful, those things can help you lose weight, right? So why would I not be wanting to do the things that's gonna help me lose weight? Okay, so if drama and gossip gonna cause me physical and emotional concerns and harm, I don't want that. I don't want that. Keep it where it is. And to be honest, if we have a clear understanding of our assignment, if we understand what it is we're supposed to be doing, and we know what God has charged us to do, and we are passionate about it, we don't have time for the drama and the gossip. No way. Right? I'm too busy trying to figure out how to do what God told me to do in excellence and making sure that I am following the steps that He's given me. I don't have time to talk about nobody else. I'm going to pray for them and hope that they complete their assignment just like I'm trying to complete my assignment. Okay? So y'all did some really great ones. If you want to, keep dropping them in the chat or definitely writing them down for yourself. Here's the third one. What are you going to do to get your joy and keep your joy? What are those things you're going to do? Are you going to work on your mindset and change your perspective? Are you going to change what you consume and make sure that you are consuming positive things? Are you going to increase the experiences that are positive? Are you going to make sure that you have good people in your life? Right? What are the things that you're going to do to get your joy and keep your joy? And so, if anybody wants to share that, by all means, please drop that in the chat. Because y'all know we can't talk about a problem and not talk about a solution, right? So if we know the things that are getting in the way of our joy, we definitely want to address those. So we're gonna address fear. We're gonna stay away from drama. We're not gonna listen to gossip. Right? None of those things. Right? We're not gonna allow people around us that will put their fears on us. All right. So what are some other things? Tara said, "Don't worry." Yes, right. And y'all, I know that that sounds really simple, like, oh, just don't worry. I promise you, you can do that. Putting your trust in God, turning it over to Him, letting it go, that's how you work on not worrying. All right? That's how you make sure that you don't have sleepless nights. When you actually understand and accept that you can't do nothing about it no way, right? That you have turned it over, and instead of going and trying to pick it back up, you just leave it right there in the master's hands. When you do that, you can actually not worry. Yeah. Alice says set and stick with boundaries. Absolutely. Y'all know how I feel about boundaries. Boundaries is a part of self care, right? Boundaries is something we all need. I talk about boundaries in therapy with kids and their parents all day long. We got to set up some boundaries. People need to know that we have expectations. We have expectations for ourselves. We have expectations for the interactions that we're going to have with others. And when you communicate those things, people can act accordingly, right? So boundaries are absolutely necessary. I hope something else that you all do to kind of get your joy and keep your joy is to make sure that you are doing things in alignment with your values, right? So, my husband and I had a Zoom call with my nephew a couple of weeks ago. And he's in school at Tuskegee, TU, right? And he plays basketball and he's an engineering major. And we wanted to meet with him, and he was like, what y'all want to meet about? But I just really wanted to check in with him, and usually I check in with him over the phone, so this was a little more formal. But I told him, I said, I wanted to look at you because I wanted you to understand how serious this is. I want him to, and everybody else, to make sure that you are doing things in alignment with your values. So I'm like, if you love engineering or parts of engineering, figure out what parts you love and make sure that you parlay that into your career, right? Y'all, the days where we do jobs that we don't want to do and be miserable until we retire, those days are gone. We're not doing that anymore. So we need to make sure that the things that we do at work, the things that we do at home, the things that we do for ourselves, the things that we agree to are things that are in alignment with our values, things that we care about, things that we know will advance the kingdom, right? I know everybody on here tonight, is a believer, right? So things that we actually know will advance what God has for us to do. Okay. I see I got some comments. Nicole said we talked about boundaries on our women's group last night. Someone said be careful to set boundaries and not fences. Yes, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, because it doesn't you don't have to put a wall up, right? But we do need boundaries. Absolutely. Terry said practice gratitude daily. I love that one, Terry. I actually have a candle in my space, y'all, in my new, just my space. I have a candle, and the scent is, and it's all essential oils, but the scent is called gratitude. And so I wanted that in my space on purpose because gratitude is something that absolutely brings me joy. Y'all, when we think about our life and how it's going, right now might not look so great, right? But when you think back over your life and you think about all the things that God has done for you, the fact that you still here and there are other people that are not, listen, you can't help but to shout and have joy because it didn't have to be. So even as bleak as right now might seem for some of us, even if we going through things like grieving right now, or we could be grieving the loss of a loved one, grieving the loss of a job, grieving the loss of a relationship, whatever, right? Even if there's drama in the family right now, whatever it might be, think about the span of your life. Think about all the things that God has brought you through, right? And when we really focus on gratitude, when we really focus on the things that we have to be thankful for, it's hard to not have joy. Yeah. Okay. So y'all keep dropping them and I'm going to keep reading them. All right. But listen, joy is important. And I feel like, when we're going through the day to day, a lot of times it's easy to be like, oh, that's higher level stuff. That's stuff that I ain't got time to think about. I'm just trying to survive. But y'all, we really have to pay attention to things like peace, things like joy, right? Things like contentment, right? We have to pay attention to those things because those are the things that make our life worth living. Those are the things that give us what we need to carry out the assignments that we have. So even though it might be more higher level, we still have to take some time, sit with ourselves, do these self reflections, right? Do our praying and our meditating. Figure out what it's going to take because, y'all, we only get one of these lives. That's it. The one that we have. So why not live it to the fullest? Why not have as much joy for as long as possible? Right? Why not be happy when we can? Those are the things that we need to think on. All right. So one of the things I might have said it, I'm not sure if I said it, but while we're talking about joy, one of the things that brings me joy is helping others be their authentic selves, right? In all spaces and be free to do what God has called them to do and to do it in excellence. And so, one way that I do that, or one way that I've started to do that since God told me to, was women's conferences. So, y'all, my second women's conference is coming up, Free Before 40. And some people have had questions about the name. People usually love the name, but they always think that it's for women under 40. It's not. Free Before 40 is for women of all ages. And what we are doing is coming together and we are engaging, educating, and we're encouraging each other to be as free as possible as soon as possible. So the idea behind Free Before 40, you don't have to wait to be 40. You don't have to wait to be wise. You don't have to wait to be married. You don't have to wait to be a mother. You don't have to wait to be at a certain level with your career or in your profession. You can be free right where you are. Okay. And so, y'all, this women's conference was absolutely amazing in October. And I decided I wanted to do it in the summer because I wanted people to experience the beautiful Baltimore summer weather and not so much the cold weather that we sometimes have in October. So, Free Before 40 2023 is happening on Saturday, July 15th. 2023 at the Sheraton in the Inner Harbor. So that's downtown Baltimore. If you all can get here, I promise you, you'll be blessed. Okay. I am going to start actually documenting some of the things that have happened on this journey to this particular conference. So you all can just see how God has been moving. It has been amazing. People like Tasha and, hubby and like LaKendra and other people that might be on here tonight, they know all of these different things that have happened, but I want to share them with everybody. Because, y'all, I tell folks all the time, God be playing chess while we playing checkers all the time. So, I mean, he has, I'm never like not speechless when he does what he does. So we are going to have a panel, we're going to have a keynote, we're going to have our breakout sessions. The breakout sessions are going to be about your physical health, your financial wellness. Of course, we're talking about mental health because we got to, right? It's in there. We're talking about mindset. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to have someone who is a Christian fiction author, and she is bringing her book. It's called 40 and Waiting, and I'm gonna do a whole post about her. Okay. But it's called 40 and Waiting, and what she's talking about in the book is so in line with the conference. She's talking about how do you wait well, right? How do you wait well on some of those blessings that God has coming for you? They just haven't gotten there yet. So we got her in the building. We are going to have, financial coaches in the building talking about how do you make sure that your money is in line with everything else. So while God is calling us to do all of these things, we need our money to be in order so that we can carry out the things, right? We have an international grief counselor coming in to do a grief and loss session. Because I don't know about y'all, but grief is one of those things that will knock me off track. It will absolutely knock me off track. And grief doesn't just show up when somebody passes away and then goes away. No, grief will pop up again and again and again, right? And so we need to know how to address grief. So we will have an international speaker and grief counselor in the building talking about that. Y'all, my videographer, I'm so excited. My videographer is coming from Florida. He's someone that I know, Someone that a lot of us on here know actually. He is absolutely amazing. I am going to release probably tomorrow morning one of the small commercials that he did for me. And he is coming all the way from Florida to bless us with his skills. And he has an amazing story as well, which we might get a little bit of his story while he's here. But y'all, the conference is going to be amazing. And I can say that with certainty because I know what God has told me. And I know what God has charged me to do. And I know the people and what's the word I want to use? The people and the resources that God has given me to carry this out. So if you can be in the place, if you can be in Baltimore on Saturday, July 15th, 2023, you need to make your way here. It's going to be a blessing. And for all the men that are watching, if you know a woman who wants to be free or a woman who loves to talk about authenticity and walk in their gifts and walk in their magic, by all means send them. Okay, so early bird tickets are on sale right now. They are 125. After the middle of June, those tickets are going to go up to regular price, which is 199. So get your ticket now. Okay, get your ticket now and come on up. Come on up to see me. So, y'all, that's all I have for you tonight. I think I put this in one of my posts, but I got a real special guest that I am trying to confirm. And so, if I'm able to confirm this special guest, y'all, we gonna have a Holy Ghost good time next week. Okay, talking about mental health and the church. So that's the topic: mental health in the church. And so I am hoping to confirm the special guest, and I will put out a post and let y'all know who it is and all that great stuff once I get it confirmed. Okay. Yeah. So Kim said, is there a virtual option for the conference? Kim, not at this time, but I will let you know if that becomes a reality. We have talked about that. We are trying to see how we can make that work. So I'll let you know if I can make that happen. Okay. But y'all have a blessed night. I hope you have enjoyed it. And more than anything, I hope you all do something to get your joy and keep your joy. All right. Till next time.